What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I'm your host, your bastard of ceremonies, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That, of course, is the guy watching my back, my silent partner. If your teeth didn't give it away, the Freddie Mercury puppet. Out of breath a little bit here. Just had to run downstairs. Didn't want to miss my scheduled interview time, but upstate New York, the sinuses are killing me. I know. Even a rock god, or son of a rock god, suffers from the same problems that you mere mortals suffer from. And by the way, speaking of rock star good looks, let me give myself a little peek-see here. Look at the coif. It's in order, folks. And of course, I get it done with this. Well, rock star genetics and this. Use it. You'll never look this good. We know this. Good genes in the Roth gene pool, but you will up your game levels. And of course, I don't edit anything. Real life is happening. My guest will be in here. 51 years old, can't be bothered. I will not edit. But we all know that I am Diamond Dave Lee Roth Jr. The hard science will prove it very soon that you are looking at the son of glam, the front man for the band, adored by millions of fans, the peanut butter to your jam. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Wop, Bop, Blue Bop, Wop, Bam, Bam, Shazam. Hot damn. Pops is talking through me. I'm feeling good tonight. And let me just confirm one more time. Yeah, I am looking good too. Of course, let me get my obligatory promotional stuff out of the way. Make sure to follow and like Pod Scum on Facebook. You got to do it nowadays. You got to play ball and be on the socials. On there, you'll find updates on new episodes and any other bullshit, ranting and raving I want to do. There will be, I will post updates on upcoming fights and boxing stuff. You can also, at the channel here, if you're here, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, peruse Off the Couch Boxing. My other podcast, 160 episodes I did with my son, Frankie the Flamethrower. If you like the fight game, amazing. 160 episodes of some of the greatest pugilists, ex-pugilists, people associated with the fight game. It's amazing. And I encourage you to check it out. And of course, I'm conferring with my guest right now, and you are seeing it all. And of course, I'm giving you exactly what a podcast doesn't need, a bunch of dead air. My apologies. It is the holiday season. Let me also be thankful and express my gratitude to all the guests that come on here and have these amazing conversations with me. Our guest is here now, so we're going to dive in. Let's go. I've been rambling enough. I'll ramble at the end of this thing. I'm killing time on there, brother. I was rambling. I was starting to ramble. I got to admit, I was starting to ramble a bit. You there? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You got to turn on the mic. Should be a microphone button down there at the bottom or on your device. At the bottom of the screen. Along the bottom there, there's camera, microphone. If that doesn't work, you could go out and try to come. If that doesn't work, you could try to go out and come back in again. You know, see if it enabled you to, because I can see your video fine. Usually at the bottom of the screen, there's a microphone, a camera, a hand. There's like a red phone button down there. It should be down amongst there somewhere.
Microphone?
There you go. You got it.
Technology.
You got it, man. Yeah. I can't believe, man. You know, you'd think with that being one of the most important things in one of these calls, that's a problem, man. Google Meet ought to have the microphone and the camera button big or fucking someplace where, and then now that I'm looking at it, it does kind of suck down there across the bottom of the screen. I mean, I'm blind as fuck anyway, but I mean, that's not easily navigatable.
It's not. It's not. But
It's
I
not.
also have. This is like my mixing station for music.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's all kinds of things hooked up to it, so that the computer's just going, "What the fuck are you doing, guy?" Like,
Man, your beard game is fucking strong right now, man. You look like you're insulating for something, dude, man. Are you still in Minnesota?
I am.
Oh, so it's gonna get cold for you pretty soon too, huh?
A high of 28 today.
Yeah. I'm in upstate New York, man. I'm in upstate New York and starting to turn here too, man, where I'm using the car starter in the morning. It's in the 20s and the 30s. And I know what I know once I use the car starter and I can't wear the Crocs anymore, that it's over.
It's over. It's all done.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to put on regular shoes now and sneakers and stuff to go to work. And I have to start the car and let it run for a couple minutes like a pussy. You got to do it though, man. You know?
Right?
Hey, I can't remember the shit specifically, man, that we talked about because it was like a year ago that I had you on. So I'm going to dive in where I've been diving in currently with other guests and stay along the same curriculum, man. So was there a specific album or an artist or a song that lit the fire for you to do music, man? Like, what do you remember, like, your first musical experience being?
For me, it was Kiss.
Yeah, I hear them a lot. Yeah, they're a lot of people's gateway.
Yeah, my brother, I have an older brother who's 6 years older than me, and his whole room was Kiss.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that they played music until I walked into his room and saw like Gene Simmons with a bass, like, oh my God. And then saw Peter Criss, and that's where I wanted to play drums.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they were my superheroes.
And that's going to attract kids too, man. Like, that's a way to really reel kids in, man, because there was a look to it. It was visual, you know, as much as audio.
Yeah, I mean, to me, they were they were like the X-Men, the superheroes.
Yeah.
You know, and even my daughter, she's 6 years old and she's got a Peter Criss solo album poster in her room.
That's cool. Hey, you're raising her right, man. You're raising her right.
Absolutely.
You're subjecting her to good music, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking my son next April to out here it's the Carrier Dome. It's where Syracuse University plays football. It is going to be like 55,000 people in there, but we're going to see Metallica, Pantera, and Suicidal. Now, let me tell you, man, not the same buying a Metallica ticket in 2024 as it was in 1988 on the Injustice for All tour. A little more expensive.
I bet. How old is your son?
Oh, he's going to be 30 tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. No, but ironically, though, at 14 years old, it was the first concert I took him to on the Death Magnetic tour. But this one's nice because Metallica, I don't know if you know right now, is doing this big stadium tour that's going to be starting here. Actually, our Syracuse date is the first one. And then after that, it alternates every city. So the one combination is Metallica with Pantera and Suicidal, which I'm stoked is coming to our town. The other one was Limp Bizkit and Ice Nine Kills. No disrespect to those bands, but the other lineup gets me a little more jazzed. Seeing Pantera and Suicidal is a little more in my wheelhouse.
No, I agree. I think it's cool that they're changing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the same thing, and that's good for them. I'm sure they're coming through here.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $400 to go.
No, it was $100. I mean, you know, full disclosure, and I probably said on other episodes, it was $111 per ticket.
Okay.
And mind you, not man, like what Metallica does is go to the 50-yard line and play in the round now. So there's really not a bad seat. It's not like you're way at one end of the arena and the stage is fucking 5 billion fucking miles that way. You know what I mean? So you are kind of all around them, man. But I mean, we are up high. So I mean, I don't want you to think $111 got us a great seat. You know,
right.
Like if you down the snake pit or near the stage, like those where you're talking to, you're going to shell out a couple grand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's silly, but you know, I mean,
I don't need Kirk Hammett sweat on me.
You don't. No, you don't.
No. I know what these guys look like. I've been listening to them and partying to their music since I was since as old as I can remember, man. I know what they look like, and there's screens everywhere.
Sure, but you know, they're one of those bands that you got to catch them while you can because who knows when they stop or
yeah.
Like
it was a little known fact they said on the internet that it's been 30 years since they've been in our neck of the woods here in upstate New York. So yeah, so but that's a good point. Yeah, the last time they were here was, and I barely count this as a Metallica tour, but they were here at our state fairgrounds in Syracuse in 1996. They headlined Lollapalooza.
Oh wow!
Okay. Yeah. Which that was when Lollapalooza, when like it wasn't the vision Perry Farrell had anymore. Because those first couple of years, it was really hippie-ish and cool, and the bands were way underground or whatever. Now suddenly, I went to it in '96. It was Lollapalooza, sponsored by Budweiser. So it was already it had already gone mainstream, and now Metallica is headlining it, and I think it had gone off the rails from what it started out as.
I think I went to that one because wasn't Soundgarden there too?
Soundgarden co-headlined with him. Yeah.
The Soundgarden and then the Wu-Tang Clan was the first time I saw the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, and now it's funny we're talking about alternating tours because on that tour they were alternating with Rage Against the Machine, and I was hoping we would get Rage, and we got Wu-Tang as well. Not that Wu-Tang wasn't great, but I mean I was hoping for Rage.
Right.
I mean Wu-Tang's got to go out and do their thing too, man, and they need someplace to do it. And even if rap isn't necessarily my forte, from what I remember, and we're talking 30 years, they were good though.
They started a whole bunch of things, you know. I mean. They carried on. That's what they do. I love the Wu-Tang. And like you're a Ghetto Boys fan too, though.
Love them. Yeah, yeah. I love them, man. I couldn't wrap my head around it, like in the 90s, man, like fucking thinking of like two cool rappers like Scarface and Willie D, and then the third guy's a midget. That was just mind blowing. You know what I mean? Like it's like you can't unsee that. And on that We Can't Be Stopped album, man, when Scarface and Willie D, when Willie D and Scarface are wheeling him out of the hospital on that gurney, and he's got the fucking shot out eye.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I watched Willie D's podcast. I watch it all the time.
Me too.
Great. But I mean, that was a real picture. They said, "Let's take a picture for the record cover," and there was like, "Really, a fucking dude just got shot in the face."
Yeah.
You know, like, well, whatever. So I mean, that's time stamp. You know?
And I've heard other stories, man. Bushwick was wild, though. Really wild.
Yeah.
A wild dude.
I mean, if you were, you know, him, wouldn't you be?
Yeah, but the thing I like about Scarface is, Scarface wrote his memoir, and I have the book downstairs, and it says on the back of it, I think this is pretty poignant, man. It says, Scarface is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. You know what I mean? So that means guys that really know how to do that shit know Scarface is fire, man.
Yeah, no, he is. He's the guy, man. The Face Mob, all that shit he did after that and in between, and no, he is. He's something else. His acoustic. You ever watched him play acoustic guitar?
He's a great. He can play a guitar, man, and he's charismatic. You know what I mean? Like he makes those Ghetto Boys stories, those gangster stories, really come to life. You know.
True stuff. I mean, that was legit. They weren't studio gangsters down there in Houston.
No. Yeah. I mean, that's what inspired me. I wore it in my boxing episode all the time, and that's what inspired me to get the Fifth Ward Posse hat.
Gotta have it.
I feel like I became an honorary member because we actually, when me and my son were doing the boxing podcast, we had two separate boxers who grew up in Houston's Fifth Ward too, that were pals with those guys, man, like real pals. I mean, dudes who came to their fights and hung around them and was from their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Well, even Scarface or Brad Jordan was running for mayor of Houston.
Yeah, he got into politics, and oddly enough, fucking Willie D actually did start out boxing, and then he did a stint in prison for a little while, and then he got out and went to the rap thing. But Scarface would make a good politician, though, man. But you know, he'll probably suffer from the same thing they try to do to the metal community. They'll make him out that he's a hip hop thug and doesn't, so therefore doesn't have a brain in his head. But he's a smart guy. He could get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And he's doing it in his own community, so he knows what they need. You know,
right? Yep, he never left, and he's fixing stuff, and more power to him, man.
I'm excited though, man. When I talk to you, man, fucking, we're bantering back and forth here, but I don't want to take the focus off of. I want you to tell me like the shit you're doing. Pentagram no longer, man. But I got really excited, man. Like when you told me about the Axe Digger stuff, especially when you said that you're working with Alex from Entombed.
Yes, yeah, Axe Draggers. It's really cool.
And again, only discuss what you're at liberties to say. I don't know how deep you are into your project, but
oh no, we're good, man. Like we haven't really said much. I mean. It's kind of like what would happen if I called these dudes and say you want to jam, and everybody said yes. Kind of thing. Yeah. I've known Alex Hellid for 2000, so 24 years. Me and him have been buddies.
And now tell people like how you meet, in your stories, man. Like in your tales of your life, man. What's the story of you crossing paths with Alex from Entombed? How do you meet him?
Well, see, Entombed was always, just like you and like everybody else, like one of my favorite bands ever growing up. You know, I'm 46 years old, so I was there when they were there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, this other band I had at the time called the Mighty Nimbus, we were just out there doing something, had some demos out, and it somehow got to Alex. And mind you, this is 24 years ago.
Right.
And he got a hold of us and said, "Hey, I fucking love this music." And we're like, "Wow, it's fucking Alex from Entombed, man."
It's a big deal.
Yeah. He's like,
Fuck
"Do
yeah.
you have a record label?" And we said, "No." He's like, "Well, I'd like to put it out." And it was under 3-Man Recordings, which was Entombed's personal record.
Yeah. That means something. Yeah.
And absolutely. So we were the only band, A, being American, and B, being a band that didn't have a member of Entombed in it that was on 3-Man Recordings.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so that's how we met. And then when they came to the States, would have been what I have to pass up there somewhere, 2003, somewhere up there. I don't know. Anywho, it was Entombed, Crowbar, Propane. They're around your neck of the woods, I think. Propane.
Yep.
And then us. So we went out for like a month with Entombed and Crowbar and everybody. And
I just had Rob Machete on a couple weeks ago, man. He was in Propane.
nice. Yep.
Yeah, good dude.
So that's all that thing. So then we just stayed in touch, me and Alex. I mean, forever. I mean, he put out one of my first records.
I'm pretty sure, man, and I, you know, it might step on some toes, but you know, music is so subjective anyway. Everyone has their opinions, and with all due respect, last month I had Fred, the drummer from Dismember, on. I've had guys from Vomitory on. So I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I would probably say, man, that outside of the United States, the greatest death metal band is Entombed.
Yep. I mean,
I'm saying it, man. I'm saying it.
I don't consider them death metal. It's like, I don't know how to explain them. They have their own thing.
Yeah, they did. There was a bit of a groove to it.
Yeah, and then some people call it death and roll and all this stupid shit. No, it's fucking Doomed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's their sound, right? Like they kind of honed it. I feel like if anyone tried to copy it, man, it would have been maybe Barnes with 6 Feet Under, but
sure, you know,
he couldn't pull it off. He couldn't pull it off with all due respect, like Entombed can, though.
No, and that whole tone, you know, that whole HM2 boss pedal with the chainsaw Swedish tone, that was them. I mean, if it wasn't for them, that sound, I mean, Dismember took that sound, Grave took that sound, you know, Bloodbath took that sound, but it's the Entombed sound to me. Like they're originators of everything as far as I'm concerned. But I never considered them death metal. It's like Obituary to me is another one of my favorite bands ever.
Well, that's my all-time favorite death metal band.
But to me, I don't call them death metal, man. They're heavy metal.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Well, they have a sick tone, man. Like fucking Trevor has a tone that is unlike anything I've ever heard. Anything.
You know it's him instantly.
Yeah.
It's like Obituary is a band that I buy every record regardless because I know what I'm getting. You know what I mean? It's not like they've never once reinvented the wheel.
And the one thing that I will say confidently, I've already had a couple of guys on. I've had Kenny on, I've had Terry on, man. But John Tardy sent me an email before they went on this last tour. You know, and they're out doing some great gigs right now, man. They were helping Sepultura on their final tour, and they were out with my boys at Agnostic Front, man. So they were out on a good bill, man. But I hope to get I hope to get John or Donald on here, man, because I'll geek out, man. Seriously, man. I mean, those are all the guys in Obituary are great, man. But Obituary, the thing I find the most fascinating, John Tardy would be the one whose brain I'd really like to pick, man, because all the other guys, with all due respect, the Barneses and the Corpse Grinders, man, the Glenn Bettons, man, they do all do the growl, but there just seems to be a tormented anguish when John Tardy does it that really makes it sound creepier and more haunting.
It sounds like it hurts.
Yeah.
You know? Like Chopped in Half is one of my favorite songs ever. And when that first line, Chopped in Half, oh my God, guy. And no one sounds like him. And he's been doing the same shit for what, 30 years? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's fantastic. And I'll buy their records without even hearing it because I know this is Obituary.
Yeah.
They're the AC/DC of metal because AC never changed.
Yeah, I agree.
To get progressive, you know, or like try to play suffocation riffs or anything like that. They're just fucking, there they are.
Okay, so we covered Alex, man. I'm interested in putting some shine on the rest of these guys. Okay, so you got Bob from Fu Manchu. How do you make the connection and get him in the band?
Well, I've known Bob for a while, but never like at a personal level. Like we just kind of knew each other from the Pentagram stuff and the 61 stuff. It's like, it's Bob Balch from Fu Manchu. That guy's a fucking amazing. I love Fu Manchu. One of my favorite bands ever. And I don't know, like 2 or 3 years ago in Pentagram, Victor Griffin came back in, which was awesome. And then, like everybody else, he leaves because he's sick of the fucking shit. You know, so we were looking for a guitar player to do this new record that they did right now. So I was like, man, who do we get? So I just, out of the blue, I just text Bob, like, hey, would you be interested? I know he's a big Pentagram fan. He's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, cool. You know, like that'll work out. And then the drama started happening, and I didn't want to bring Bob into that fucking thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm like, this ain't worth your time, dude. I'm like, seriously, like, it's just, trust me, you don't want to do this. And the riffs, me and him are throwing riffs back and forth. They're great tunes. So then we came to the conclusion, it's like, well, fuck it. Let's me and you do something together. And he's like, absolutely. So then we started throwing more riffs, and then this whole Axe Dragger project came about. So that's just how that works. So that's
who makes the connection with Alex now? Does Bob know Alex, or do you got to kind of introduce everybody?
I did. Yep. I threw it by Bob. What if I asked Alex? Hell, because we were trying to make, you know, I hate the term super group.
I know.
But trying to get like players that are fucking players. You know, that
I unfortunately just had to use it when I had Jason Bittner on, because Category 7, the new band he's in, is literally a fucking super group, but they're awesome. I mean, he's got some crazy players in there.
Absolutely, but everybody, I was thinking of people who are professional.
Yeah.
No drama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That want to jam, that we can do it at home in our own fucking time.
Yeah.
I mean, and not on anybody else's fucking time.
The no drama thing would be big for me.
It's huge, man.
Get you there.
I'll tell you what, like, music has been almost a negative for the last 10 fucking years of my life. And it's just with the drama and the stress and the bullshit and all this, and where it's just now, it's that old saying where, like, one door shuts and like 10 open. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So many fucking doors, and it's great because they're stress free, no drama, no bullshit. We can do it on our time. We can do whatever the fuck we want. I can record drums in my home.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The big thing is nowadays, man, you got to take the drama out of the equation, because it's really survival of the fittest out there. I mean, I have guys on here that have been doing it, much like yourself, 20, 30 years, and they got to get out there and grind on the road, man. The album sales don't amount to shit. They're out there grinding and hoping they can peddle some merchandise, man. You know?
Right. But it just, it got to the point, bro, where it was like, I dreaded leaving. Like, knowing that I had to get on an airplane and go fucking deal with shit.
Yeah.
Like, I literally I would have like panic attacks. Like, I don't want to fucking go, but I don't want to let the other 3 dudes down.
You're right. Now, what about Frederick from Dark Funeral? I'm not very familiar with him, man. What can you tell me about him, and how and why do you reach out to him? How do you know him? And why specifically is he another guy you reach out to?
He's he's been in a bunch of Swedish bands. I never met him personally until 2 years ago. We were in Helsinki. Pentagram played at Helsinki Metal Fest, and Dark Funeral played the night before. And so me and Frederick were like, we just became buddies on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, we're playing the same festival. I'm like, cool. And we did all those things. And then he's like, oh, we play Friday. You play Saturday. I'm like, shit. He's like, I'm going to stick around.
That's cool.
I was like, okay. I didn't know if he was or not. And also to hear this fucking knock on our dressing room, and here comes this big fucking Swede.
Is he big?
Oh, he's huge.
Yeah. Viking.
So instantly we were like best friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Never met this motherfucker at all.
Yeah.
Like, instantly best friends. So we went to catering and like ate and drank all this beer and shit. And that's where we said, we should jam. Like, we should do something together. He's like, absolutely. So then that's my first pick was like, let's grab him, because me and him have this rapport, easy to work with, no bullshit, killer bass player, you know. So that's how that all came.
Yeah, so you seem to be reinvigorated, man, and it seemed excited like about what's going on, and you know, like right now. You seem like you see someone hit it best the other day, and I can't remember who I had on the episode, but they said they were out of one project and they were now in another one, and they said the music they're making right now just really brings them joy. you know? And I thought, wow, it's Barris core. That's what you want to be getting out of playing music, you know? Yes, you know, to make some coin, certainly, man. But I mean, you got to be liking the music you're making and the people you're making it with.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, right now it's fun. Music is fun. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Where before I was literally dreading it. You know, like.
Well, that's the quote that Blabbermouth is going to grab right there.
Yes, well, yeah, whatever. I got more fun.
Hey, but I will say shout out to Blabbermouth, man, because when they do post my interviews, they finally are getting my name right and giving me proper respect, calling me Reckless Rexx Ruger. And the other day I had to send part of my interview. Yeah, I had to send part of the interview to Jason Bittner because he even said in his interview, Blabbermouth is going to run with this because he was talking about his reasons for leaving Overkill or whatever and going to Category 7 or whatever, man. And it was all amicable and cool and everything. But he said, oh, this is the part Blabbermouth will take. And lo and behold, they did. But at one point, they even gave me credit for pressing him. One of the paragraph started with, and then Ruger pressed Bittner about, you know, if he was getting his creative, you know, juices out, so to speak, in the band. And I said, hey, I apologize, man, if you felt pressed. That's not my style of journalism. Sorry, I pressed Jason Bittner. I didn't really press him. He's a great guy. And I've had him on before, man. And he's a New Yorker and he's fucking just laid back and cool as fuck and a great fucking drummer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. A legendary metal drummer, man. So and so tell me about the other project because I don't want to get off the topic of putting the shine on what you're doing. Rust Bucket.
Rust Bucket. Yeah. I actually just got these today.
What's that all about, the Rust Bucket stuff?
It's these test press that are
cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Well, Rust Bucket is like, well, I play guitar in that one. I don't drum in that band. So I write all the music and play guitar. But it's basically everybody in the band are all from here, from my town, my local town.
That's convenient.
It is, but we've all known each other. We've all been friends. Every one of us have been friends for 25, 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
You know, so we've all been in the scene in town here, you know, doing bands and shit. So it's just like one day, we're just like, man, we should all get together and do something. Like, you know, just for fun, because we're all dads. We don't have time. So the band literally started for us to get away from our children for a night and have dude time and drink some beer.
Right, I get it. I'm a grandparent now, man, but we're so active because we're young grandparents, me and my wife, that we're so active in the grandkids' life that now it seems like almost every day some combination, we have 6 of them, is here, and it feels like I'm being a parent all over again almost. Sure. And I like doing it, and I promote my kids dropping their kids off here. I do willingly take them. I'm not saying my kids are just deadbeats and they're dropping their kids off. I love having them, and me and my wife asked to have them. But it is nice when everybody clears out at the end of a weekend, though, and they all fucking go home, though. That's
what my dad said. My dad always said the best thing about being a grandpa is they go home.
Yeah. But we are getting ready to probably drop a bundle, man. 6 grandkids, man, for Christmas, man. So you know what I mean, like it'll be a hefty bill for sure.
But it's all worth it, dude.
It is.
All worth it.
It is. And so what's Rust Bucket? I'm assuming that anything you're doing with a guy in Dark Funeral and a guy with Entombed is probably on the heavy side. So Axe Dragger, expect what? Heavy, thrash, death metal? What would you call it?
No, it's just heavy metal. It's like Jesus.
Motorhead? Heavier?
Kinda. More groovy metal. It's hard to explain because there's
like
so
Soulfly?
Well, shit, almost Judas Priesty.
Oh, even less heavy then. I like that. That's cool. Yeah.
Because then, because having Bob and Alex together, there's room for the harmony, the guitar double thing. You know what I'm saying?
But I do have down in my notes, and I don't want to forget this, man. You texted me, and I can show you the text message that on Monday you would share who the mystery singer is.
Well, we've been working. We've been auditioning a bunch of people, and everyone sounds great. But
but before you go to announcing it, man, is this a Pod Scum exclusive?
It sure could be.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I'm getting first dibs.
Yeah. No one really knows. I mean, we've been kind of just because, we're still in the infant stage.
Yeah.
But we've been getting demos and everything sounds great from Terry Glaze, the original singer from Pantera.
Oh, cool.
Oh, this fucking guy. I'll tell you, he is something else.
And that's funny because I think people that don't know the Pantera story would realize that that if history serves me right, and I'm going into my behind the music fucking files here, man. But wasn't Terry not really wanting to go that heavy? He liked when they were doing like the power metal era stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's just, I mean, the guy's like a fine wine. Like he just gets the just better with age. It's amazing. Like me and Bob will send me demos with Terry on it, and I'll sit there, get goosebumps on my arms and shit. Like, what the fuck, this guy? Like, this is so cool. So it kind of reminds me, he's like a Tony Martin Sabbath.
Yeah, that's cool.
With a little Glenn Hughes in there. And whatever, I mean, the guy is just something else. So
okay, so now you got to explain your affiliation and your association and how he ties into this band. Do you know him? Is somebody else introducing you to him? How do you reach out to him?
Never met him. How we got through him was me and Bob Fault were sitting down, like throwing out names of people.
Yeah.
Like just like, well, what about this guy? Like, what about this guy? Okay, that guy's cool. Let's send a message. Send a message. And Bob one day says, "What about Terry fucking Glaze, man?" I was like the Pantera guy? He's like, yeah. I go, do you know him? He's like, no. So Bob had to like go look up his information and like just out of the blue, send him a message. And Terry's like, yeah, fuck, let's do it. So
didn't even know him at all, out of the clear blue.
Yeah, he just dug the songs. You know, Terry loved the songs and started sending us stuff back. What do you think?
I admire that, man. What's more fucking organic and rock and roll than that, man? I mean,
none of us know him, never met him. Bob ended up hanging out with them in DC on the Fu Manchu tour with Clutch this like a couple months ago. Yeah, so it was really cool. They got to actually meet in person, but Bob had to literally go like dig to find this dude's fucking shit to like get a hold of him. Hey, you don't know me, but by the way.
But who's the one that knew? But who's the one that knew he was still that he was still singing at a high level and still sounded good?
Nobody.
Nope,
it was a roll of the dice. Like, fuck it. Yeah, let's get this guy. Like, see what he's, and sure shit. And everything he's been sending is just, as far as I'm concerned, he's the singer in the group. You know what I mean?
And so who are the other guys that we can put the shine on, man? Fucking shout out the other guys in Rust Bucket. Who else is in Rust Bucket? You.
Me. And then we got my drummer, Luke, who I've known him since we were in fucking first grade, man.
Well, that's a long, yeah. Okay, so he's an old friend, definitely.
He's an old friend. The other guitar player, my buddy Gene Starr, who me and him have been playing music together for about the same time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Adam, our bass player, is just insane. He makes it, as far as I'm concerned. And Tom, our singer, is just me and Tom have been in a couple bands together. So it's really cool. The record comes out in January something. We have a new single coming on this Friday. And our label, the label is putting it out. It's Glory of Death Records on Oceanside, California. That is just beautiful fucking vinyl. It's like art. Like,
that's cool.
Every record I get from them, I don't even want to play it. I don't want to wreck it.
That's cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm glad, man. I'm fucking glad, man. That's fucking awesome, man. I mean, and so I'll take Axe Dragger first, man. You're obviously with some pretty prolifically creative people in there, man. What's the creative process like in that band up to this point? Is someone taking the reins, man, or are you all guys kind of spitballing ideas around? I mean, Alex, Bob. I mean, you got some pretty creative dudes.
Yeah, as it sits right now, it's really just me and Bob at the point where he'll demo a riff with a drum machine or something, and I'll do the same. So me and him are like writing the songs as of right now. Where I'll write a song, play guitar, send it to him. He'll learn it. And which is really easy because I suck at guitar and he's really good, and then send it back, and then I'll throw drums on it, and then we'll send it to Terry and he'll do his thing, and then we'll send it to Sweden and let those two guys do the bass and all that stuff. So we're just kind of in the infant stage of just collecting riffs to try and make it a song, but I think we have like 5 songs already.
And so you're saying right now, and I can see this already, man, ex-Pentagram drummer says new project coming with former Pantera singer Terry Glaze. but hey, that's fucking awesome though, man. And there's a great tie in there. And when you think about it, it's really great getting him, man, because Pantera has had this great resurgence and he's part of that history,
Yeah, I mean, he is part of that history, and he's just a fantastic vocalist.
He's got a place in the story, in the Pantera story. He's in there.
But he gets put to the side where people don't even know that even existed. Or if you're a big Pantera fan, you hated power metal, that record. And that
but it's unfair. It's a lazy comparison. If you're comparing power metal to the stuff they went on to do with Vulgar and Far Beyond Driven, but power metal on its own, though, for that genre, is a pretty good album.
2 different bands.
Yeah,
you know
two different bands, man. Yeah,
it's almost Van Halen, Van Hagar.
Yeah,
2 different bands.
It's just they wanted to go with Phil and go in a more aggressive direction, man.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with evolution. You know what I mean?
What about touring? Where do you stand on touring, man? Because I know you're a fucking parent, man. When you go away now, man, it's such a nomadic existence. You're away from your creature comforts and your family and everything you love, man. You still like going away and touring? And is there a comfortable number for how long you like to go out for before you want to get the fuck home?
As it sits right now, I'm retired.
From touring?
Yep.
Okay.
There'll be some, like, I'm sure once the Axe Dragger stuff pops off, we'll go do Hellfest or something like that.
Some shows, isolated shows.
Yeah, some festival stuff. But I don't know, man. It's being a dad, and my daughter's only 6. And it's like rock and roll will always be here, but being a dad won't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I get it, man. Yeah,
I've seen everything I needed to see. I've done everything I needed to fucking do. Do I miss it? Yep. But then I'd rather just be home because I know that, like, but then again, you got to understand for the last 10 years, it was not knowing if we're going to show up to a show and it's canceled because fucking the promoter doesn't want to be attached to having said guy as the, in the venue, and not knowing what state said guy is going to be at. If you make it to the fucking airport. And
right.
It's like that kind of shit where I'm just like, man, I can just stay home and I don't give.
So you're basically saying you just like to create like fucking studio albums, studio EPs, and just put out music and isolated appearances out promoting it in public. Yep,
that's where I'm at right now. Like,
it's probably the tough choice to make, but as a parent though, man, it's probably the right choice though.
That's what I have in my brain is like I said, rock and roll will always be here. But being a dad to a 6-year-old, and at that time a 4-year-old, and then a 5-year-old, and then next year a 7-year-old.
Yeah. You got to do tough shit when you're a parent, man. I remember me and my wife, we couldn't afford like fucking like daycare. When our kids were little, man, we had to work at the hospital separate shifts. I did 7 to 3, she did 3 to 11, and we literally worked at the same hospital, and we literally just saw each other night and day, passing off kids to each other,
Right.
Here you go. You take them and go home. I'm going into work,
you got to do it. I mean, you got to do it. And it's just part of being an adult, you have to be an adult, but that's just the way it is. And at the end of the day, you can sit back and go, yep, I'm doing the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody involved.
I would work an 8-hour day and then come home and take kids to practices and cook dinner and all that fucking same shit. You know what I mean? Like, it was on me.
Try to make sure I take, my fiance out to eat, have a date night when we can, because
that's important.
You come home and it's just, I'm dad,
right?
And then
you're in that mode.
But I need to be a husband too,
right? So I think it's a good move, man. I mean, anybody with a family, man. I mean, you can't knock somebody for making that decision, man.
I'm just done with it. Like,
family should come before everything. People always get that tattoo, family over everything. People espouse it all the time, man. But do they really live it though? I mean,
yeah, I miss the tour. I mean, I miss the thing I miss the most is the dude time in the bus. You know what I mean? Like hanging out with the guys, with your band, and like being dudes. Right. But I don't miss living in airports. I don't miss living in hotel rooms. I don't miss fucking doing a sound check and fucking sleeping on a couch for 8 hours before you have to play. Just
over the years, how has your health been? Have you had to make a lot of adjustments? Like I've heard drummers say that they'll have to like sometimes adjust the stool or adjust the they'll get aches and pains, shoulder tweaks and stuff like that. Have you held up pretty good? Drumming's pretty physical.
It is. I got the tennis elbow, and I've never played tennis.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You get that endurance built up. It's muscle memory at this point.
Yeah.
You've been playing drums for 40 fucking years.
Is it more exciting right now, man, to lend drum parts to music, man, or are you gravitating more? Like you said, you're playing guitar, man. Are you gravitating more to the guitar?
It's a horse apiece.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool to have a riff, knowing, but see, when I write guitar riffs, I think of the drums first. Everything is always the drums. How can the drums be like? How can we do? But it's fun again. Like, I'll go back to say, music is fun again, because I can throw what I got, and I have the dudes around me that's like, dude, do what you got to do. You know, so I can write a part to it, and no one fucking bats an eye at it. You know, it sounds great. So it's fun to create.
All right, now, so let me ask you a couple of the subjective questions that I've been trying to get in on all my guests lately, man. From a fan standpoint, and this is stuff that people need to know. I wouldn't ask this stuff if we didn't need to know it. You know what I mean? So from a fan standpoint, the best gig that you ever saw, witnessing it from the audience, man, one that really made an impact on you.
I'll tell you, man, it had to be 96, 97. We went to see Clutch.
Yeah.
At First Avenue, Prince's joint down in Maine.
Yeah.
And the opening band was Fu Manchu. I never heard of Fu Manchu in my fucking life. Never heard of them.
It blew you away.
Blew me away. And I've been a fan ever since. So that was just like, I didn't even want to, I could have left after they were done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even want
shout out to the late, great, legendary Prince, man. That is his spot, man. That is his spot, the First Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So that gig made an impact on you. Now, is there somebody that you, that you never got to see that you would like to see? And I suppose maybe there'd still be a chance to be, but maybe not.
Shit.
Anybody on the bucket list of bands that you would have yet to see live that you would like to see?
Oh, there's a bunch, but I mean, they're all dead. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Yeah, they're all dead.
Seen like Leslie West live, like doing some kind of mountain thing or something like that.
He didn't die, did he?
Oh, he did.
I used to see him on the Howard Stern show all the time.
No, he's gone.
Come on now.
I think the only guy is Corky. Corky's the only guy. I saw Corky Lang's Mountain, which was still pretty cool, but I would have loved to see that. I would have never saw Uriah Heep. Would have loved to see Uriah Heep. Now they're on their retirement tour. But yeah, that's about it. Like,
what about when you're out on tour, man? Have there been people, and as you said, you've done festivals, you've been all over the place, man. Has there been anybody you got the opportunity to meet where it really blew you away, and you said afterwards, like, holy shit, I can't believe I just fucking met him?
To me, that's the greatest thing about rock and roll, and especially touring rock and roll.
Yeah,
is the opening bands. I'm always right there.
Yeah,
watch every fucking band. And I found so many fucking bands, man. I remember when Uncle Ass and the Deadbeats. That's one of my favorites. They were the opening band before. Now they're huge. I remember Ghost, the band Ghost.
Yeah.
Open for us.
When nobody knew who they were.
No one knew who the fuck they were. I remember playing with Burn the Priest, which is Lamb of God.
Before they were,
Yep. Every time you went through fucking Richmond, you played with Burn the Priest. Every time you went through Savannah, Georgia, you play with Mastodon. They were the opening band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like shit like that. And just to watch them progress, it's amazing to me. So I always would sit there and watch, because I'm a firm believer, if you're the opening band on a big show, you have everything to prove.
So what rock stars have you had a chance to meet out there, man, that really fucking bowled you over, man, where you couldn't believe that you got to meet them? Is there any heroes you got to meet? Big heroes?
Good way or bad way?
I guess we'll say good. I guess we'll say good, man, for fear of a cease and desist on this episode.
No, everybody. Yeah, I've met some dudes who I never thought.
I mean, you got to tell me something privately off air. That's a different story, man. But, we'll try to keep it PG on here, man. And if we have a private conversation, we'll go R-rated if we have to. That's all.
Oh no, I've met some we played Hellfest with Deep Purple.
Oh, that's cool.
They were way up. I mean, obviously we were way down on the day, but whatever. But I got to sit side stage at Ian Gillian's bar. He has a bar on the side of the stage where he'd come over and drink and whatever. And we got to stay there. That was fucking super dope. He was cool. Roger Glover, so rad. I'm a big Deep Purple guy.
Yeah. Well, those are heroes. That's heroes you're getting to meet.
Buck Dharma, Blues to Cult, super cool. Scott Gorham from Thin Lizzy, like he was the one guy that I got like I can't do it. Like I got the.
Yeah, Thin Lizzy's amazing.
Oh, I know, but it's fucking Scott Gorham. You know what I mean? So it's just like, oh my god,
yeah,
like
intimidating
guy. Yeah, intimidating, and it's just like, you know. And I remember Victor Griffin saying, "Just go do it, dude." He's like,
yeah. I think at my age, man, I've got a lot of pictures with famous people, man. Some of them boxers, some of them musicians or whatever, man. But I think the thing that I worry about the most, it's not like when I see him, I'm fanboying or getting giddy or even like nervous or apprehensive. The thing that makes me the most nervous is, are they going to live up to what I'm hoping that they'll fucking be and not let me down? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care if they're just nice enough. That's okay, man. Just I don't want them to be a dick, you know?
Sure. And I've met some of my idols. And I wish I never fucking would have.
Yeah,
that whole thing, you know, because it's like, oh my god, this is really who you are.
Yeah,
you dick.
Yeah. Well, that was always the knock before, though, right? Like, be careful not to meet your heroes. You know,
exactly.
Like to say that all the time.
Yep, that's why it was. You know, you just kind of get skittish. But then I get like that whole thing of like, I don't want to go into this guy and say like, dude, I love you, man, fucking blah blah blah, because he hears it every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy, so I just like would rather just go, hey, you know.
Okay. So here's one that's a little more cut and dry, man. That the last interview I had, man, I had two guys on from a young metal band. One guy was pretty definitive, but the other guy struggled with it a little bit, man. But who would your Mount Rushmore, your top 4 all-time musical goats be for you, your own personal taste?
My own personal taste.
Yeah, like, your own Mount Rushmore.
Any instrument, doesn't matter.
Oh, anything. Doesn't got to just be metal. Just the 4 most meaningful artists to you.
Or meaningful artists to me. I would say Robin Trower.
Okay.
He's up there. Richie Blackmore.
Okay.
Ace Frehley.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, these are all guitar players, but then I would go with God damn, man, Cozy Powell.
Oh, nice list. That's a nice Mount Rushmore, man. Yeah, I think Ace is just a character, man. That laugh of his is just so infectious, dude. He's a ball buster. He's a New Yorker.
Yep. Yeah, he's great. No, but it's just like, but again, it comes down to like we were talking before about Kiss, where it's a visual thing. Like to me, I mean, the guy's good. He's the best player in that band. Always was.
Yeah, by far.
But it's just him. Like with the bended knees, you're like, holy fuck, it's fucking extreme. You know, so it's burned in my brain of that. But I like the obscure guys. Like to me, it's like Tommy Bolin's another one. Like Tommy Bolin, who
I tend to gravitate towards the more unsung guys too, man. Like you talk about these guys that are like a riff god, and it's easy to always go to like the guys like James Hetfield or whatever. But like, I like a guy from like Gary Holt from Exodus or somebody that doesn't really get a lot of fucking like props for the badass riffs that they've been writing for fucking 4 decades. You know,
Victor Griffin's another guy.
Yeah, just guys.
Like, he has his own tone. Like he is like the tone master. Like there's people trying to fucking figure out how he does it.
I know. A guy like Max Cavalera churns out riffs. You don't even bother to use his bottom 2 fucking strings.
Exactly. Jimmy Bauer, plays with fucking 4 strings on the guitar, and look what he does.
And then of course, there's the almighty riff master who often gets overlooked but never should be, and that's Kirk from Crowbar. Yeah, he's just a fucking like the heaviest. I mean, I'm constantly seeing these lists now. I watched this one podcast where these 2 guys, each of them from different punk rock hardcore bands, did this list, and they had a bracket going, man, and they were trying to whittle it down to the heaviest band. And I like where they went because oddly enough, they measured heaviness by. See, when I was young, I equated heaviness with blast beats, and we're just trying to find the most extreme, fast, brutal, guttural, in your face. But then when you get older, you realize heaviness takes on a different. Like Crowbar's heavier than that speed metal and shit like that on a way different level. You know,
I will say, quote, that Crowbar is the heaviest band on the planet.
And they won these guys' fucking thing. It literally came down to them in Obituary.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Solid.
Yeah. And there were some crushing bands on there, some really crushing bands on there. But it just came down to like we talked about with Obituary earlier, man. It just came down to a simple formula, man. Just a tone and some sick fucking riffs, dude, man. And you've created heavy.
It's feel and groove. That's what it comes down to. If it takes you, like two notes, if it's got the swing to it, it's like, oh my God, I'd rather hear that than fucking Ingve, you know, or you know what I'm saying, or any of that shit. It's like,
it's often a scene that doesn't get as much love, man. But that NOLA scene in the bands that came out of New Orleans, man, are amazing, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I had Vinny Labella on the other day from Ex Hoarder. Is amazing. I Hate God, Crowbar. You know what I mean? Like, there's some amazing heavy Soylent Green. Yeah, there's some amazing bands that come from there, man.
But
yeah, that's a great area.
It's like there, and then you go to Tampa, and you got all that fucking death metal.
I know.
It's like in the water, but then you go to Stockholm, and what you got in Sweden. You know, like all that shit. Like, you just know where it's coming from. And man,
I was working on a pretty good theory at one point, because the Bay Area has the thrash scene. That's in California. Great heavy bands came out of Houston, New Orleans. You mentioned that Tampa, Florida scene. I had a theory, man, that hot weather breeds good aggressive music.
It does. No, it's good. I mean, then you go to DC, Virginia, and Maryland. You got all that doom stuff. You know, you got Pentagram, you got Wino. Anything Wino fucking touches. You know what I'm saying?
It's like we're more depressed up here in the Northeast.
Yeah, right.
We're making doom metal.
But even up in upstate New York, Buffalo, you got death metal up there too.
Oh yeah.
You know, Malevolent Creation and all that stuff was up there for a minute.
Yeah.
All that shit. So that's good stuff. I love the scene spots, because you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, you absolutely do. And so if you took one of these bands that you're in, doesn't matter which band or whatever, and you could create the dream bill, which I guess nowadays a concert bill in metal is like 3 bands. So if you could take your band and go on a tour with 2 other bands, what would be the dream bill? Like, if you could play with 2 other bands.
Jesus Christ. Why do you do this?
And maybe these bands will see this and be like, wow, I had no idea Minnesota Pete felt this way. We got to call this guy. And that's how you end up being like, Mike Muir from Suicidal. All of a sudden, these guys on a Metallica fucking tour. It does probably help though, man. That Ty Trujillo is Rob's son. He's playing bass for them now.
Yeah, I saw that. He's a bad motherfucker. Hey.
That probably helps Suicidal get that slot a little bit, I'm sure.
We'll go there.
Yeah. Well, from what I hear, man, I'm excited because I've never seen Suicidal, and they're top 5 all-time favorite band for me, man. And I'm excited, man, because even though it's not the Rocky George era back in the How Will I Laugh Tomorrow days, the lineup they have right now, Jay Weinberg's playing drums. They got a kick-ass fucking band right now, man.
Yeah, Jay Weinberg got the shaft on that. He's a hidden ninja as far as I'm concerned. He's like his dad. He can play anything.
And Ty on the bass, and Psycho Myko is still fucking Psycho Myko.
Yep. Can't go wrong.
Always golden, man. And
I don't know who I'd pick for my bill. I mean, I have no idea. I would do Obituary and probably Crowbar, just because. Yeah,
it'd be the heaviest tour ever, man. Especially if this Axe Dragger winds up being as heavy as it sounds like it should be. With these dudes in it, it sounds like it's headed towards being probably kind of.
It's pretty heavy.
I know you're saying heavy metal in the Judas Priest vein now, but I think with these guys, oh man, music always evolves. I think you guys will always find a way to heavier, like rather than like lightening up a sound. How can you not with these guys? I mean, Fu Manchu is super heavy in its own way.
Sure, but but that's why I think like what's cool is when you add the different personalities, and what they bring to it. You know what I'm saying? Like adding Alex Hellid to it, it's going to bring Alex Hellid to it.
Right. And also some of these guys probably don't want to play what they're used to playing in their regular bands too. So you might get a vast departure, you know?
Exactly. And that's what's fun about it. It's just doing something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because on paper we should be like a fucking death metal band or some shit.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But it's not. It's rock and roll, and it just sounds so good.
So when you see the Axe Dragger, that's what Pete's saying right now. When you see Axe Dragger up on the streaming platforms, don't just draw these wild assumptions, man, that you're getting a death metal band just because of this motley crew that's in this group right here of heavy ass dudes. You know,
right?
It might not be that. It might not be that, right?
I guarantee when you hit play on the first single, you're gonna go, "Holy shit, really?"
Yeah. And you've revealed a lot, man. I mean, you've dropped the name Terry Glaze, which is pretty exciting. Yeah. That's pretty fucking cool, man.
Yep.
All right, now here's one right here, man, that I think you will answer definitively, man. I think you'll come through definitively on this one. If I dropped Pete on a desert island, what's the desert island album if you could only take one with you? The one album to live on the desert island with forever. What a miserable existence.
That would suck. Shit.
And I'm not even to my worst, most heinous question yet.
Oh, goddamn.
That one's
You
pretty
know what
bad.
What I would take would be Thick as a Brick, Jethro Tull.
Okay. And you feel like that could get you through the gamut of emotions that you would probably experience.
I think it could, because it's an emotional record, but it's a concept album, you know what I mean? So it changes so much. So there's different emotions involved. I'd take Thick as a Brick, Jethro Tull.
But as much as you are extolling the virtue of Jethro Tull right now, you must admit that it was farcical them beating Metallica for the Grammy in 1989, though.
It was. Yep.
For best metal band.
Yeah, Ian Anderson, he's heavy metal.
Let's not forget the crime that happened in 1989. Metallica at the Grammys, man. Holy shit. Biggest upset ever, man. I remember they had just performed and they literally didn't even go back to their seats or go backstage. They were literally just like stage right because it was so assumed that Alice Cooper and Lita Ford were going to come up and present and that they were going to be coming right back out again, man.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
It was fucking crazy, man. I mean, I remember it was a big deal, man. I was 16 at the time, and I remember like never cared about award shows, but me and my friend that night were like, "Fuck, we gotta watch the Grammy. A metal band's gonna win a metal band like Metallica is gonna win a Grammy,
right? First ever. You know what I mean? Like for that kind of music to be recognized."
And I'm not even so sure. I found a video, man, of the other people that were nominated. Iggy Pop was nominated, and that one seemed kind of weird to me in the metal category, man. Obviously, the Jethro Tull one was weird, and Jane's Addiction was nominated in that category too, which it does kind of seem like a hodgepodge of I don't know. You're going to call that category metal with those other bands in it?
Yeah, but did metal really exist at that? I mean, besides the hair metal stuff,
right?
You know what I mean? So I think
Metallica should have won. Nobody was doing what they were doing.
Absolutely. I mean,
that level.
Metal compared to Iggy Pop and fucking Jethro Tull.
I mean, other thrash bands are around. Obviously, the Exoduses and the Testaments of the world were doing their thing, but nobody was doing it to the degree that Metallica was like. And Justice for All, it's like they were at the height of their powers right then.
Slayer was there. Sepultura was there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Pantera was there.
I don't like to see, and maybe you could expound on this a little bit as a drummer and shed some light on this for me. Why is it that Lars, as a drummer, is such a polarizing guy? Now, he's been the backbeat man for obviously we're talking about him, the most successful heavy metal band of all time, man. And me not being a musician, when I watch YouTube videos of him, I see people in the comment section really dump on him being off.
They dump on him. They do. I don't know why.
Is he a bad drummer though, man?
Nope.
No, I don't think he is either.
He's when it comes to like technical prowess, yeah, he's not that good. But there couldn't be another drummer in Metallica.
Right. I agree with
that band. He makes James sound good. You know what I mean? Like with the riffs, you know what I'm saying? Like there couldn't be anybody else. It's like Van Halen. You couldn't have Van Halen without Alex Van Halen.
Right. But I don't think any of the Metallica guys, man, in all fairness to them, I don't think they've ever tried to fucking grab like the virtuoso fucking label, any of them, though. I don't think they claim to be like, I think they're just four guys that make magic together.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And Lars is a huge part of that, because he is so, I don't want to say novice. That's a wrong word.
But isn't it a little more rock and roll? So what if he's a little loose and a little sloppy? Who cares?
He doesn't do this. He does whatever, but he makes the music. He you know what I'm saying? Like there couldn't be anybody else in that band.
He influenced a lot of kids in that one video, man. Like when they showed his feet playing double bass.
Yeah, I'm one of them. You got
a lot of kids that admittedly fucking are on there saying, "I learned how to play double bass watching that video."
Dave Lombardo couldn't play in fucking Metallica.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just wouldn't work. It just would. So he's a crucial part to me, the crux of that band.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of his drumming, but I respect the shit out of him.
And now what about the now I saved this one for last because I think this one is the most heinous question. Yeah, everybody keeps fucking answering it. No problem, man. So obviously people got shit on their mind and shit that they don't like or people they don't like and they got to get it off their chest somehow. But if we were able to make now, when you answer this question, try to think along the lines of like a sports general manager. You know what I mean? You're an owner of a team. Get that thinking cap on. Now, if we were here bartering with God right now and we could get a dead rock star back, who would we want back and who could he take in that person's place?
Oh, my fucking Christ. Are you kidding me?
I had a guy the other day get rid of fucking Chris Martin from Coldplay. You believe that? He must have been feeling something here in his heart, man. I mean, he came up with him quick, man. And I forgot who he wanted back. I think maybe Eddie Van Halen. I'm like, wow, we're getting a good deal there, man. If God goes for that one, man.
That's a trade. That's a trade.
Yeah.
Shit. Who would I get rid of? I know who I'd bring back.
Okay, let's start there first then.
I would bring back Lane Stanley.
Oh, I like that pick. My favorite vocalist of all time, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No. But who would I get rid of?
Yeah, I've got a lot of Lane Staley shit, man. I email with his mom a couple times a year. Sweet lady.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's a really nice lady, man. Fucking Nancy. She was kind enough to send me a whole bunch of stuff, like mass cards and like little prayer things, man, like from his fucking calling hours and his funeral, man. And you know, a couple times a year, usually around this time of year, the holidays, and usually like around like August, I think, is when his birthday was. And then occasionally, sometimes April is when he actually passed away. So I mean,
Right.
but I try to hit her at least a couple times a year, you know.
Cool.
But she does a lot for like addiction recovery and stuff in that area, though, man. Tries to
Sure.
raise a lot of money, and
Nope. I mean,
she always sends me an invite to the Lane Staley Memorial Weekend all the time. But it's way out in Seattle, you know.
yeah,
I mean,
no, I get it. No, to me,
I'll go some here.
he was like, there'll never be another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, there'll never be another Lane Staley. Like, he's got a, fuck, how do you say it? Like, he's a stamp in time
yeah,
where, especially for me growing, I mean, that's what I grew up with. That was, you know what I mean? Like, I'm 46. So, I mean, when Alice in Chains was coming, that was my band.
yeah.
So,
Oh yeah,
like, and just his the voice and the way everything about it, it's just so beautiful to me. And
well, we were talking about Obituary earlier, and Trevor Perez, man, like that Lane Staley's voice has its own tone. It's a tone.
done. You know it. It's like the Mad Season record.
Yeah,
You know, just that one album they did, front to back, is fucking amazing.
the best album ever. I know it's the best
It
side
is.
project ever, man. All the media did was make a big deal about Temple of the Dog, which I respect, man. But the Mad Season album, the Mad Season side project was way fucking better, man.
Every song. There's not a stinker in the bunch, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's almost to the point where you get like, I mean, I get goosebumps when I hear it and everything about him. So I would bring him back. I don't know who I'd get rid of. I'd get rid of, fuck, someone just that deserves to fucking go away. I don't know. Like your Kid Rocks or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
okay, fair enough,
One of them
fair enough, man.
Right.
Hey, you know what, man? You
Jelly
didn't really.
roll, that jelly roll fucker. Get him out of there.
Wow, you're giving up two. Now you're just giving them away like popcorn here.
I can keep going, son.
Well, listen, man, we could always use more dead rock stars back. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it does seem like unfairly, man. Like when I assess like my musical taste, or I go into my playlist, or like I go into my streaming thing, and I pull up an album that I like. You know, unfortunately, it always involves a key member or members, unfortunately, being deceased, and it
Right.
sucks.
And I'm
know?
a firm believer in music, in evolution of music. So there's certain things that, like, I believe when people die, like, let's use Jimi Hendrix as an example. If Jimi Hendrix never died, if he was still alive today, there would be no Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I know, right?
Stevie Ray Vaughan would not have been fucking Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know what I mean? He took Jimmy to the next level.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
a firm believer in evolution. Like, it takes to make, you know, but like guys like Kid Rock and all that, like, oh, fuck that shit. But there'll never be another Lane Staley. They're just
no. And for a while, I feel like I was being an asshole Alice in Chains fan, man, because I didn't want to give the William Duvall era stuff any fucking. It's good. Yeah,
He's doing great. You know,
yeah, I have to admit, man. You know, what I mean, it's two separate eras. Yeah,
all three records.
I think for a while, man, I felt like either don't call it that or let Jerry slide over, who's a capable vocalist. If he took over the lead vocal spot, I might not have had such a problem, man. So I kicked and screamed a little bit with William Duvall, but I've come around. He's great.
Devil Put Dinosaurs here is fucking fantastic, front to back, black,
Yeah.
pink, blue, whatever. It's but see, you know what those records did for me personally was gain nothing but absolute respect to Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah,
It made me say, "Oh my God, this motherfucker really was Alice in Chains."
yeah,
You know,
He
the
is.
tone, everything about it,
Yeah.
and like the harmony parts. I mean, to me, like Alice in Chains were the heavy metal Beatles.
yes,
You know what I mean? With
Yeah.
the Paul and John harmony thing.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Those two did it better than any of those
Better
other
than
grunge
anybody.
bands.
Better than fucking anybody. But those new Alice in Chains records gave me like respect, which I always have respect for Jerry. Like, it's not saying anything against it, but just made me appreciate him more.
Well, I got to hear a lot of Lane Staley stories, man, because I got obsessed, and I've read the audiobook because I've had some eye surgeries the last couple of years. So reading it for a sustained amount of time can be tough. But I fallen in love with these audiobooks, man. And I'll tell you what, man, Mark Lanigan, the singer for the Screaming Trees, wrote the best one. Fucking wrote the best one and narrates it himself, and he's got this very Tom Waits type voice. So listening to him read it is like the most soothing thing in the world. But his story is harrowing, and I would say probably a good 2/3 of the book is about him getting into shit with either Kurt Cobain or Lane Staley, man. A lot of addiction shit, man. But he was right there as like best friends with like both of them, and Screaming Trees was always a grunge band that was kind of on the outer fringes, man. But I think one of the best ones. It just didn't get to where Nirvana and Soundgarden and all the rest of Pearl Jam got.
Because they didn't get there because of Nirvana and Soundgarden. What I mean? Which is fine. But yeah, he was good. Like me and my wife just bought. We were just talking about Mad Season, that above album, but the double record. So side C or D or whatever on the second album is all the stuff with him.
Yeah. Does that set include the concert at the Moore Theater?
No, I wish it did. I watched.
I'm pretty sure that's on YouTube though, man. But they I don't think they did a lot of shows, man. But they did a hometown one in Seattle at the Moore Theater though. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I saw that on the Tizzle. Yeah, that was good. But
it's all kind of shot in black and white too. It's like old school looking.
Well, even the stuff Lanigan did with Queens of the Stone Age was kick ass.
Yeah, he's got a great voice, man. But listening to him narrate his story, and it's dark. A lot of overseas fucking trips, just fucking like getting dodgy and heading out of the hotel and faring all over the worst parts of these fucking cities in Europe to score dope. I mean, just crazy.
Yeah, man. No way. Not a way to live.
I mean, he's out there touring the world, and he's like a hardcore junkie. And you can't just go and jump into country to country to country with dope on you. You know what I mean? Right. It's like you got to use it up and then start to fuck over like when you get to the next place. And a lot of shit going on down with Lane in the book, and a lot of shit with Kurt Cobain. He was really tight with Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, use once and destroy. That's what they say.
Yeah. So like, when will the Axe Dragger music be out? Like, when will you have a definitive anything? EP album?
No, there's no deadline, which makes it cool too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's there's no deadline. We're working on shit, and then we still got to go to the other dudes in Sweden and do
maybe sometime 2025.
Yeah, there'll be a single or two. I guarantee it. It's a serious thing, but we're not like taking it serious. You know what I mean? It's more just dudes, and everything's remote, which is so fucking rad. Like, I don't. Are both bands
speaking of Rust Bucket and Axe Dragger, are they both of equal priority and equal importance to you, or do you look at one as more of a priority than the other?
No, there's no priorities.
Equal.
Yeah, it's equal. It's just whatever happens. Like Rust Bucket, to me, it's now we're writing for the second album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the record's done and it comes out in January. So it's like, there's really, so I look forward to getting the emails from Bob about, here's a riff. What do you think of this? I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. I'm like a kid at Christmas just waiting.
Right.
Man.
Yeah.
So there's everything is important at this point because it's so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
There's no drama. There's no.
Again, at the core, that's what it should be, right? At the core,
absolutely.
That's what it should be.
Like, Rex, I'm telling you, it's facts, Jack. Like, it's literally, this is the most fun I've had in music in 15 years.
That's good. That's good. That's what you should be doing, man, right? I mean, if it ain't fun, what the fuck, man? That's why the rest of us humps out in the world that don't get to play music for a living. That's what we got to deal with, the not fun shit. Dude, I mean, you're in a job where you get to go have some fun and enjoy yourself.
It literally got to the point where I dreaded looking at my drums. Like, I just dreaded it because I knew what happens around the drums.
That's not a good feeling.
No, it's not at all, man. And it's just like, but the money was good. I got to do my thing.
Well, that matters probably the most. Yeah.
It is what it is. I wish him the best, or him the best. I wish him the best.
Well, I want you to do me a favor though, man. So if people want, well, first of all, let me get to the promotional shit. If people want to find out anything about these projects, what's the best way? The social media platforms? Is there a website? If people want to check out Rust Bucket does Axe Dragger have anything out yet to follow or to no?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
No, okay. For Axe Dragger. I'm sure we will at some point, but right now,
and Rust Bucket is out there though. You can find Rust Bucket.
Yep, we got a Facebook Daily Bopper, and we have 2 singles out. That's streaming everywhere. And then actually this Friday, Black Friday, our 3rd one comes out. 3rd single pops off.
Oh, so you're rolling them right out your sleeve, man. No problem.
Yep, ain't no thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad we got a chance to do this, man.
I just want to ask you. You're great. You're a fucking great dude.
Hey, but I just want to ask you, and I don't usually do this with guests. Like usually, like I kind of boot them out of the room, and then I do my little preamble and end the show. But I want to talk to you for a second off air. So just hang tight while I close off the show here.
You got it, brother.
Well, but just stay there. I just want to talk to you for a couple minutes, man. But I'm going to let you go though. For the audience's sake, you're out of here, man. But I appreciate you so much, man.
I appreciate you, and I thank you for everything you do.
Yeah.
And thanks, y'all, for checking it out, and keep watching this motherfucker.
Yeah. And just stay right there for a minute, man. That was a great episode. Thanks, Minnesota Pete Campbell, man. Another fucking amazing episode of Pod Scum in the books, man. Hope you guys enjoyed it, man. Make sure to like and follow Pod Scum on Facebook. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on this channel. And as I always say when I end these things, take it easy and keep it sleazy.